I'm Todd Cohen, the sales culture architect, because everyone's in sales, including you. So, one of the things I talk about is how we have to, if you're going to actually sell yourself and understand that everything you do is a sales moment, we have to remember that there's a negative sales stereotype. And this character from the movie Glengarry Glen Ross, which is one of my all-time favorite movies, this was the Alec Baldwin breakout role. And this movie is from the early 90s. It was based on a David Mamet play. And in this, I laugh when I think about it because it is so it literally still resonates with anybody who's ever seen it, right? We always remember the ABC scene. And what he was doing in this scene was actually reinforcing all of those negative stereotypes of salespeople by being this typical sales guy who is trying to teach real estate salespeople, vacation land parcel salespeople, into high pressure closes. And that is not what I believe sales actually is. That's bad salespeople. That is what reinforces the negative sales stereotype. There is, however, a very important lesson in this particular scene. And what he was talking about, the ABCs of sales, right? He was talking about A, always, B, right? C, closing. And, his point is every time that you come to a point in the conversation, you try to close, get them to sign, do something. And of course, again, that is everything I hate, right? Which is the high pressure, bad tactic, salesperson who just, again, reinforces everything I'm teaching what sales isn't, which is sales is a mindset, sales is behavior. And look, there's tons of videos out there, in my books and everything. You can find out more information on what sales actually is so that you understand that everyone's in sales. But this ABC, this scene really does have an important lesson to it. So park, if you will, sort of the high pressure perspective that the movie, glamorized, and think of it this way. Every time you have a conversation with somebody and you're trying to sell something, it could be anything, right? It could be trying to sell something as a salesperson. It could be you're going to your boss and looking for budget money. I mean, there's a million examples because everything we do is a decision point for people to continue to engage with you or not. Now, I'm going to say that again. Sales is about giving people a reason to keep communicating, keep engaging, keep thinking that I want to continue to get to know you, build a relationship, and listen to what you have to say. So when you're having these conversations, and it could be anything, always be closing. Again, negative stereotype aside, please keep an open mind, really means never leave a conversation empty-handed. And by that, I mean this. It's wonderful when you make a great pitch. It's wonderful when you're convincing. It's wonderful when people are going, yes, this makes a lot of sense. I hadn't thought of this. Or, you know what, you're right. We should hire this speaker. Hint, hint. Or, we should do this or should do that. Or, you know what, I'm going to approve this budget or whatever it might be. You have to tell them what the next step is. In other words, always follow up with what's next. Close for the next step. Close for what needs to happen. Don't leave things empty-handed. In a series of videos and some things I've written about recently, I've talked about how curiosity without a next step is what I call intellectual tourism. Well, ABC's always be closing is the opposite of intellectual tourism. What we're actually saying, what I'm saying is, always be listening, right? Right, you know what that is, right? And closing for the next step. Help me take the next step. Because if I'm into what you're saying, if I'm agreeing with you, I may not know what to do next. And that's where sales, anything, because everything we do is a sales moment. That's where things fail. Because what you don't want to leave people with is, hey, that was a great conversation. Well, I don't know what to do next. So goes in the pile and on to the next thing. Always be closing in its positive sense means always help people take the next step. What's the next thing that I need to do to help you achieve what it is you're trying to sell me on? Sales isn't the bad thing. Sales is not the enemy. But movies like this, which by the way, I love the movie, and it glorifies all the negative stereotypes of sales. That's what the movie was supposed to do. And I'm not a movie critic. I've only seen this movie like 10,000 times. Remember, always be closing does have a good connotation if you choose to think of it in these terms. Every conversation has a next step. Close for that next step, and you'll find yourself getting more of what you want, need, and deserve. You know what? Everyone's in sales, and part of sales is closing. And sometimes that close is nothing more than something that needs to happen and helping people take that step. I'm Todd Cohen, the sales culture architect. I do keynotes, I do workshops. Isn't it time you brought this message into your organization to help your team grow, thrive, and sustain in the midst of competition so that you stand out and you're memorable? Everyone's in sales.